Hi, my name is Chiara Bozzetti and I will show you how to paint beautiful flowers in watercolor using Hahnemühle paper. Before I actually start my painting, I always make a sketch of the picture I'm going to paint. As my subject for this work, I choose the quaresmeira flower. It's a very beautiful and simple flower from a common tree here in Brazil. The leaves of this tree are dark green and its flowers petals are between violet and pink. I think these colors combine beautifully, creating a contrasting palette. I have chosen to draw 3 flowers together and put them on a paper I'm going to work on. I like to draw from life, but when I don't have the subject with me, I use the picture from my personal photo bank. So those photos I'm using as a reference today. I have been taking them some time in the past and keep them safe in a drive for a moment like this. To make this drawing, I use a 7B pencil. I usually draw with really light hands, making clear and light lines. Because of it, I've used a darker pencil so they can be seen in the video. On my own work, I choose 2B pencil, so the lines won't really be seen. I recommend this one for you to your watercolors drawing. Harder pencils aren't going to show on your paper. On the other hand, darker ones can stay what you are doing. After planning and drawing my composition, I wet all the paper so I can start to apply the colors of the first layer of my painting. I used 3 colors: green, yellow ochre and ultramarine blue. This is my favorite blue. Those colors ended up mixing on the paper due to the wet on wet technique, which I like a lot in my creations. I also like to work with blooms on watercolor. I turn them on my favor. So, this is the process I use on my personal work, and because of it, I've picked the paper the watercolor from Hahnemühle. It's a great paper, 100% cotton, and it totally suits my needs on my painting. It helps me bring beautiful blooms to life and make color mix easily on the paper when I apply the wet on wet technique. With the watercolor paper, I'm able to repeat this technique many times on the next layer with the same result, while the color can keep their vibrancy, which is awesome. As soon as this first layer is dry, I start the next one. Here I've decided to use the negative painting, so I brighten a new darker color to the background to make the flowers pop up. The flowers alone are going to keep the color of the first layer. I repeat this on all the painting. On this new layer, I choose a dark green. I mixed the previous green with ultramarine blue, so we can see the difference between light and dark areas. I've used 2 types of brushes here. a thinner one for smaller areas and details, and a bigger one so I could paint a large area. They are both Da Vinci brushes. I like this brand a lot. In this layer, I also check if something is missing in my composition. I can add more leaves and flowers if I need at this point with the painting alone. In the initial sketch, I structured thought to help me organize the image, but we can work out ideas along the way while we paint. I think painting watercolor in parts helps the artist with the type of technique. While part of the work is drying off, I can work on another one. At this moment, I let my background drying, and after it is done, I am going to paint in the flowers. For the flowers, I'm going to use a mix of carmine, blue and violet. I said in the beginning, one of the characteristics of the quaresmeira are the violet pinkish flowers. On my palette, I have Schmink watercolors and has a very reduced variety of colors, but we have carmine and blue here. And I added a violet from another tube so I could get the hues right. Here, I paint the first layer, and after it was all dry, I started with the details. Finally, I include all the details. I always organize in this way. I begin painting larger areas and go to the smaller ones until I reach the details. Here, I'm working on the petals, revitalizing the colors. After it's all done, I take a look to check if there is something more I need to add to visually balance everything. Then, I splash some painting on it, so we have a nice happy feeling looking at this watercolor. I hope you enjoy the type and the painting. I used the Hahnemühle The watercolor paper because I feel like it gives me a good result, whatever technique I used, and good beautiful blooms, even after the paint is dry. I can work many layers of the same sheet of paper and help me to create because I match with my ideas. Feel free to make your own watercolor paintings and tag me on Instagram when you post them.